Hey everybody, Kylie here again. And for our tour, we're going to start here in Studio A. So Studio A is for the upper class audio recording classes. So audio recording 3 all the way to audio recording 6. And Studio A has 2 sections, the control room and the live room. And here we are in the control room. And as you can see, we have the largest console in this building. And what I love about this console is that it's a professional standard. So basically, if you walk into a recording studio, it'll either be this console or it'll be a console super similar to that. So you can walk in and you can be confident that you know what you're doing. And on this console, we have onboard gear. So we have faders here that go up and down that control the levels of whatever mic you're listening to. You have pan pods, which tells you, which you tell the audio to go either left, center, or the right. You have the EQ, that is for equalizers, that's to amplify, that's to increase or decrease certain frequencies, whatever you want the sound to be. And we have built-in preamps, which is that's just to help amplify the sound coming from the mic. We also have outboard gear that you would also see in professional studios. And what I love about this class in this facility is that I get to learn everything you need to know for a job or an internship, hopefully in Nashville, that I will be confident in. Hopefully I'll get a job and I will be able to have a sustainable income as well as go towards my main career goal, which is be a professional recording artist. So let's head over to the live room.
Hello again, everybody. We're in the live room Studio A right now. One of the really cool things about having this awesome space is that we get to use it for a lot of our projects. And it's really cool because even though it's a school thing and there are a lot of school projects and working with students, it really does kind of feel like a professional setting, and that's really cool because it prepares you to go out and if I need to go to record drums for somebody professional in their studio or even just at my house. It really helps me be kind of prepared in that setting and kind of know what I'm doing. Just looking around, there's a lot of really nice guitar amps right over here. We have a grand piano, and we just got a nice Hammond. There's a couple really nice isolation booths that we usually use for vocals. And back over here in this room, there's a lot of really, really nice, expensive mic equipment that we can come in and use for our projects whenever we want. So yeah, it's a really awesome space, and it's really, really cool that we get to kind of use it to work on our own stuff. So now we're going to head over to the rehearsal hall and see what Kylie's up to.
So here we have the rehearsal hall. And as you can see, it's a very large room, which is very helpful to us because that means we can accommodate many different classes. And the classes that are mainly held in here are concert band, choir, and voice. But another thing we do in here is we hold concerts. So whenever we have a soloist, a quartet, or a duet of some sort that really requires an intricate and a more intimate kind of setting, we hold it here. And it's a fantastic sight to see. So let's head over to the faculty offices. Here we have all the faculty offices, and this is where usually they are here. And what's perfect is that they are in the very middle of this building. So instead of walking to the other side of the building or a completely different building in general, you can just walk right down the hall, knock on the door, and let's go inside.
Hi again. This is actually Professor Vaughn's office. You just met him earlier. There's a lot of Kiss and Star Wars stuff, so he's a big fan. So one of the really cool things about kind of the curriculum here is that they, to bolster your performance skills, they make you take one-on-one lessons, and a lot of times those lessons are held in the faculty offices. Professor Vaughn does it. I know Dr. Birch does it, and I know Professor Bagwell does it too. So it's really cool to just kind of have that time to really work on and hone your craft. So now we're going to go over to Kylie, who's sitting in the student lounge.
So here we have the student lounge, and this is where us students, we like to hang out, do homework, study, or eat, or even wait for a lesson whenever a lesson comes in a office. So let's head over to the percussion room.
So obviously I spent a lot of my first 2 or 3 in this room. It's really super cool because this is kind of like our own space. This is just for percussionists. There's a lot of really cool equipment in here. Right over here, there's a really nice 5-octave marimba. There's kind of hand drums just kind of strewn all over the place. Over there's a nice drum set, and over here's symphony. And the really cool thing is that you can come in here just pretty much any time, as long as they're not having class. You can sign on a key and just come practice. A lot of times they have rehearsals in here, and like I said, there's all the percussion studio classes are held right in this room, which is super cool. So now we're gonna head over to the music production lab.
So here we have the music production room. This is where all of our music production classes are held. So let's hear a little piece from Sam that he actually created in one of these classes.
Okay, so like Kelly said, I'm just going to show you a quick little thing that I made for my music production 5 class. And the really cool thing about MP5 is it's a film scoring class. And one of the really cool things about MP5 and also MP6, which is the portfolio class, is that they're really both kind of like full circle classes, meaning that you kind of take everything that you learned in the first 4 semesters of MP and you kind of really apply it in those last 2 classes. So this is a film scoring class, and one of the things that we had to do each week is we have like different themes or modules that we have to create. So like one week we have to create a theme for a hero, one week you have to create a theme for a love story, the next week maybe it's a theme for loss or death. So I'm just going to show you one that I made. This is like I made this a few weeks ago for as my hero theme. So I can't come see. This is the setup that they have at all of the stations here, and then there's got a MIDI keyboard, and then they have Logic, Ableton, and Pro Tools, as well as like a bunch of really, really nice virtual instruments and plugins on all these computers. So I'll just hit play, and you can listen to it. All right, now we're gonna head downstairs and check out some of the music theory classrooms. So if you just want to follow.
favorite type of music? Mine is country music, but I listen to any type of music. So whenever I'm feeling that day.
But I'll tease her about all listening to country music, but don't do that, otherwise she'll bite your head off. So.
So here we have the theory room. And in here, we learn all of our theory classes, and we take all of our theory classes. So fundamentals, rudiments, theory 1, theory 2, and contemporary popular music theory. I love our theory classes because in them we get to delve more into how music is created. Like why did this composer use this chord? How did they make these chords work together to create such a beautiful piece? I thought that was something really interesting. And another class that I love that is held in here is music industry, as we discussed before. And that's when we talk about all the music industry aspects of it and how we can make money off of other paths and that are help towards our main career path. A project that we worked on, as stated before, was a tour project. So we made a band with a 5-piece band. We named it. We figured out hotels, what destinations we wanted. We had a budget. We would figure out what we had to eat to stay on that budget, merchandise to sell so that we can get some income. It's a great and useful tool for people who actually want a tour, because then you get an understanding of how the planning happens and how much it actually goes into it. So enough of this. Let's go to an individual music production lab.
So I'm standing in one of the music production labs. These are usually for the upper level music production students. So if you're in MPs 3 through 6, you can use these as much as you want. Usually what happens is you sign out a key and you can just come and use these at your convenience. Some of the same equipment, like maybe keyboard, but they do have dual monitors. And one of the really cool things is that they have a lot nicer virtual instruments and a ton of nicer plugins on these. So the really cool thing is that you can kind of come down here and like kind of polish up your projects, kind of put the finishing touches on it using those things. And the other really cool thing is that you don't need headphones, because upstairs, there's usually a bunch of people in there, so you need to put headphones on so they don't hear. But that's not the case here. We got 2 nice monitors, and you just kind of listen as loud as you want. There are 3 of these. There's 2 on each side. So now we're gonna head down here and check out the practice rooms.
So here we have one of our many practice rooms. And the practice rooms with pianos in them are so helpful to students that are taking piano, voice, or theory. You spend a lot of your time here, especially if you don't have a piano at home. So it's super helpful to have many quality pianos here just at school, right at our fingertips. And what I love is that we can use these for personal use as well. For example, my first 2 years here, whenever I would have free time, I would spend time in here and write my own original music that hopefully will be released soon. So I love the opportunity to be able to use such quality instrumentation. Let's head over to Sam, who will give us more explanation of the practice rooms.
Hey, so like Kylie said, these are we have many of these practice rooms. There actually are 2 percussion practice rooms. There's this one, which just has this room in it, and then there's one over in the other corner that has an electronic drum set and a vibraphone. So if there's a class going on upstairs in the percussion room, or if you just kind of want to come down here and just kind of shut yourself in a room and just practice privately, you can do that. It's the same as upstairs. You just got to sign out a key. And it's super cool just because, like I said, if you want to just come in here and practice privately, you can definitely do that. So that's nice. This is a nice tool to have. So now we're going to head over to Studio B, which is our downstairs studio. Okay, so this is the lighting for Studio B, which is our downstairs studio. This studio is a little bit smaller. This is the studio that a lot of the lower level audio recording classes take place in. So audio recording 1 and 2. Like I said, it's a little bit smaller, but there's still a lot of things that happen here. Namely, in a normal semester, the ensemble work, like the studio ensemble rehearsals, are usually happening here. Like the drums will usually be in our ice booth over there, and all the guitarists and vocalists will kind of be right out here. And like I said, AR 1 and 2, they take place kind of just in the studio. The main thing that you kind of learn in those classes is just, how to kind of, you kind of learn vocabulary, like different parts of the drum set or different parts of an electric amp or a guitar, just so you can kind of, if you go into studio space, you can be professional and know what you're doing and know how to converse with people like that. And now we're going to head to the control room and talk to Kylie.
Here we have the control room of Studio B. And this is, like Sam said, for beginners, so audio recording 1 and 2. And as you can tell, the console is a lot less scary looking than the one upstairs. And that's very helpful because it helps us to teach just the basics of what we need to learn. And it helps us to teach signal input, output, the flow of it, and also helps us to teach outboard gear as well. And it gives us a nice feel with how audio recording happens, and it gives us a nice, sturdy, basic foundation before we go up to Studio A. Another thing that happens here are studio ensembles. So usually in a normal semester, we'd have the ensemble in the live room, all mic'd up, avions, headphones, and practicing and performing. And in here, we would have 2 tech people patching up. They set up the microphones, they would do levels, and they would be tracking us so that later on we can go back to the track and see what we need work on. So yeah, while we have Cynthia and Sam come in here, have any questions you want to ask in the chat? And
Are there any?
All right, so we have a couple questions in the chat. Someone asked, do I have to be great at my instrument or knowledgeable in any of the equipment before I come to your program?
Okay, yeah, no, I feel like I'm qualified to answer this. When I came here, I was mainly, like, I had experience, like, performing, and I played drums for, I think, at that point, I had played for, like, 9 or 10 years. So I was pretty proficient at that, but I was not at all familiar with any of the equipment. Everything else is pretty foreign to me, like, any of the technological stuff. And they kind of, the cool thing is they bring you up to speed pretty quickly on that stuff. And another cool thing is that the auditions that they do here, I think you mentioned earlier, Cindy, or Professor Bond did, but the auditions that they do are not to decide whether or not you get in, they're just to place you. So they accept everybody, and then you audition, and then based on the audition, they can kind of place you into what theory class you need to be in, or what type of lessons you need to be taking.
To kind of add on to that, I just want to emphasize there's no pressure. Like,
yeah,
if you don't have music experience, it helps for us to let us know so that we can ensure that we're properly placing through the courses. So by the time you meet with an academic advisor, they can understand, okay, this is your sequencing of how you're going to be getting into classes. So
yeah, I should also add too that there are a lot of people that come here with kind of the opposite of what I came here with, where they have a bunch of technology, experience and almost no like musical or performance experience, and the program kind of brings them up to speed pretty quickly and kind of gets them all caught up musically.
All right, do I need to play guitar or drums to be a music tech major, or can I do something like trumpet or violin?
you definitely don't have to be a drummer or a vocalist or a guitarist to be in this major. One of our friends actually is a French horn player.
Yep.
And we also have trumpet players, and I believe we have a cellist as well. So any instrument you can play, we accept it, and we actually love it. So
yeah, it's cool to get diversity here, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, 2 more questions. What do you guys want to do with your degree? What are you trying to do?
Okay. So with my degree, I really hope I'm doing double concentration, so I'm going the music production route and the audio recording route. For the music production route, I wanted to learn more of DAWs to help with my own personal music so I can release it, but also to help me learn how to score movies like we are in MP5 so that I can get some freelancing jobs as well. For AR, I really hope that I get to be able to get a job at a recording studio, again, hopefully in Nashville, and know more about the music industry down there and how a professional recording studio works, and to get my foot in the door with the recording artist and touring artist side of the world.
Yeah, so definitely I'm looking to, tour and kind of do the same thing that Kylie is. I graduate in the spring, so I'm kind of lining stuff up to maybe be able to go tour next summer, coronavirus willing. But yeah, like Kylie said, the film scoring thing is really cool. That's a really cool aspect that I didn't even consider when I came here, and now it's like, it's something that it's probably like one of my favorite things that I've taken from the MP classes, and definitely something that I'm gonna look into doing and try to pursue.
Okay. For certain production classes, is there certain software that we must start out with, or are we allowed to choose our software?
I think it's been a minute, but I think in MP1, Professor Nowakowski starts you off on Pro Tools, and then Logic, and then Ableton. He kind of like gives you like a crash course on each of them, and you have to do a project using each of those DAWs. And then MP2, I know there's like
We use Logic.
Yeah, and MP2 is Logic. And then after that, I think you can use kind of anything. Yeah, after that, it really you use the DAW of your choice. The goal of this first classes is just to make sure that if you're talking with a client that's primarily using Logic, you're primarily using Ableton, and you're a Pro Tools person, like you still can interact with them and be on the same level as them and understand what they're saying.
And our last question is, so what do I have to do now if I'm interested in the program?
Awesome. Well, if you're interested in the program, this is where I come in. Again, my name is Cindy Ding. I'm the admissions consultant for music technology. If you are graduating this coming May 2021, or June, however your graduation date is at your school, you are welcome to actually start applying now. Our application is open for the fall 2021 term. Like I mentioned earlier, it's just simply putting in your application in, getting your official high school transfer from your guidance counselor to send it directly to our START campus. And then also, if you happen to have ACTs or SAT scores to send, those are also welcome as well with regards to test or to course placement. But we are test optional coming into this fall 2021 term. But the application's available. Feel free to go ahead online. Being that you're a part of this event, if you put an application between now until October 30th, you will be considered for an admission scholarship. So just, another bonus to being a part of this preview day. But if you have any issues or have any questions, because I know the admission process can be very daunting sometimes, I'm here, I'm available to help you throughout this process. So yeah, I would say, if there's anything else, we are here and welcome, and we hope you really enjoyed this preview day. If you have any questions, like I said, we're all available, but we hope you have a wonderful weekend, and thank you for coming to Penn State Start virtually, and we hope to see you next year. See you all then.